Hi, good morning. My name's John. I'm one of the admins at I Love Muay Thai. Today I'm here to talk to you about these boxing gloves. This brand is called Danger. The boxing gloves I'm going to talk to you about are the Ultimate Fighter boxing gloves. But before I get started, I just want to give you a little bit of background about myself so that you understand where I'm coming from. About 20 years ago, I started Muay Thai in Manchester under a guy called Master Sken. I think I was around about 14 years old at that time, and I was training about 4 or 5 times a week. And within about 3 years, I began to teach for Master Sken in Manchester, and I taught for Master Sken for a number of years. And then I moved up to, the Lake District, and I opened up a couple of Muay Thai gyms in the Lake District as well, and I ran them for about a year and then I moved over to Thailand. And the reason why I moved over to Thailand was at that time I was selling Thai boxing equipment from Fairtech, from Twins, from King, from Boon when I initially started. So it made more sense for me to be in Thailand than to be in England. And we ran that business for a number of years. We did fairly well off that business. I learned a lot about the different brands and the types of products as well. So basically that's my background. I've now come back to England because my youngest son, he needs to go to school. So I want to get him educated in England. And the boxing gloves I'm here to talk to you today about are these boxing gloves. Now, today only, I'm going to do 30% of these boxing gloves. So usually they retail just under £50. Today, you can pick them up for just under £35. If we're talking in euros, after the discount, that's about 43 euros. And if we're talking in dollars, that's about $41. If you got the boxing gloves today, I will send them by special delivery. And if you're in the UK, you will get them tomorrow. If you're outside the UK, it will usually take about 7 to 10 working days. Okay, so let's have a look at these boxing gloves. Okay, so these are the Danger Ultimate Fighter boxing gloves. It's a premium boxing glove at the moment. Some people will say they're very, very similar to the Twins BGVL6 boxing gloves, and they are. Essentially, the construction is the same as Twins, and the one thing that you should know about Muay Thai brands is they tend to copy each other. So if one of the Muay Thai brands comes out with a new model, within maybe 6 months, all the other brands will be doing them. Probably the exception to this is Fairtech, but Twins, Top King, Danger, and some other Muay Thai brands, they tend to copy each other. And it's not that they're getting their ideas from themselves. They look at the boxing brands as well, and they might just develop some of those boxing brand models. So I believe that Twins, they got the idea from, I think it was Everlast. So these boxing gloves, when I first saw them, which was just over a year ago now, and this was when I was in Thailand, I was a little bit taken back because the closure system on these boxing gloves are not like a traditional Muay Thai glove, because usually you will have a full wraparound closure. On this one, it's a hook and loop. So if you look at the hook and loop here, basically you can open it up, it slots through this little hook, and then you just loop it back over with the velcro. And I was a little bit apprehensive when I started using these boxing gloves because I was used to the full wraparound closures, and also I used a traditional Muay Thai glove. And traditional Muay Thai gloves, the cuff is a lot shorter than this. I would say this is more of a boxing glove rather than a traditional Muay Thai glove. So I was a little bit apprehensive about the closure system. and it took me about a week or so to get used to. At that time I was training in Hat Yai, in a small gym in Hat Yai, and many of the guys hadn't seen this type of glove before. They were using full wraparound closures from, I think, Twins and also Fairtech, and they always wanted to have a look at my boxing gloves to see what they were like. Now, like I say, it took me a little bit of time to get used to on this glove, the actual closure system, and once I did actually get used to it, it was okay. The one thing that I do like about these gloves is that this part here, the wrist part, there's a lot of support, so you don't actually have to use hand wraps when you're using these gloves. It's advisable to always use hand wraps, but on this particular glove, because the wrist support is so good, you don't actually have to use hand wraps. This padding here, all along here, that's just for show. It doesn't add any type of benefit to the glove. There's no pro to the glove having this padding. It's just for show. It's just a design. When you're looking at boxing gloves, the one thing that you should look at is basically the knuckle area, and you should check how much foam is in the knuckle area, because this is important, especially if you're doing free sparring. Free sparring, you generally use 14 or 16 ounce gloves, so it's important to have a lot of padding in this area so that it's protection for your partner, so that you don't hurt them. On this particular model, they use 4 layers of foam, so if I cut this open here, you would see 4 separate layers of foam. It's quite a soft foam, so when you're sparring with your partner, you're not going to injure them too much. The one thing that I would say is that some people, they will use sparring gloves for pad work as well, and I do this myself. So generally I will use a 14 ounce glove. I will use it for pad work or bad work, and I will also use it for sparring as well. The one thing that you have to bear in mind is that when you hit the pad and when you hit the bag, you will start to compact the foam inside, and when this happens, the foam will start to get quite hard. So when you can't come to do free sparring, you will not be very popular with your sparring partner. But that said, it takes a while for the foam to get compacted. But it's just one thing to bear in mind. Some people, they will use 2 separate gloves. They will use a pair for bag and pad work, and then they will have a separate pair for free sparring. And there's pros and cons of doing that. Basically, if you have separate pairs of gloves, you're not going to compact the foam in your sparring gloves. But generally, when people separate their gloves, they will go for a lighter ounce. So when they've gone for a lighter ounce, you won't get the full... let me change that word, sentence. When you go for a lighter ounce, the stamina and the strength that you will build up is not comparable to if you have a heavier ounce. So for example, when I was fighting, I would use an 18 ounce glove. So I would use an 18 ounce glove for sparring, I would use an 18 ounce glove for pad and also bag work as well. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to build my stamina up. So when I put the 8 ounce gloves on, it was very, very easy for me. I wasn't losing my energy, and I had quite a lot of power there. So there's benefits of separating your glove, but for me, I will just use a 14 ounce glove for pad work and bag work and free sparring. And when the foam gets too hard, I will just change the actual padding. I will change the glove. So like I say, these gloves are very similar to the Twins BGVL6, I believe. The only real difference is the price point. And in the UK, you'll be looking at over £100 for a pair of Twins. These generally retail for around £50. Today, they're retailing for £35. So it's a really good pair of gloves to pick up. You won't get a pair of Thai gloves cheaper than this. If we just go through the benefits of this glove, or just the pros of this glove. So it uses 4 layers of foam. The closure system is a hook and loop, and also you've got a breathable mesh here. This is just to help the gloves dry out quicker, because sometimes if you're training a lot and you're just putting the gloves in your bag, you will get glove smell, and it absolutely stinks. So it just helps to dry the gloves out quicker. You've got the breathable mesh there, and if you just open the fingers, it's just under the fingers here. I don't know if you can see it. And then you've got the grip bar here, and the grip bar is just so you make a better fist. Okay, so these gloves are on danger.shop, and the discount code for the gloves today is Xmas. I will just post a comment quickly underneath so that you know which discount code to use. Okay, I think that's all I have to say about these gloves. If you've got any comments, you can just comment down below and I will come back to you. Okay, so have a nice holiday, and I will probably speak to you again a little bit next week. Okay, thank you.